Hello, in the previous video you got to know how to what is an array and how to initialize those elements in an array. Now in this video let us write a small program on array which accepts the input from the keyboard and displays output, and also along with displaying it will add those elements. So we'll initialize, and while doing this we need to make use of for loop. So we'll start int a of 10, int I comma n, and clear screen function printf, enter the scanf %d comma ampersand n, and for loop. So this is how we make use of for loop inside an array when we use it. I'll first write a program, then I'll tell you the flow of the data throughout this program. For I equals to 0, why we are using I will tell you all that. It is called as subscript. For I equals to 0, I less than n, and I plus plus. Always remember in array, whenever we are using array, the conditional operator, the condition should be less than n or less than 10 or maybe whatever number you give, because always the computer stores first value in the place of 0. So in for loop also we should write I equals to 0 and I less than n, not equals to n. And scanf for I equals to 0, before writing this, printf, enter the array, new line function, for I equals to 0 less than n, scanf %d comma address of ampersand a of I, because a is the placeholder. It is going to tell you where the data is going to be stored. Printf the array are now one more for loop is required. For I equals to 0, n, I less than n, I plus plus, printf /n %d comma a of I. Currently I'm just writing a program to accept input from the keyboard and store that value into an array and display that input itself. So I'll now tell you the flow of program. First let us have a look at the output, what the output will be. Computer will ask us to enter the size of array 5, enter the array elements 4, 5, 6, 1, 2. The array elements are 4, 5, 6, 1, 2. So here when we initialize this a, it is the compiler, we are telling the compiler that we are going to create an array of 10 elements. Maximum elements could be 10, and we are initializing couple of more elements over here. Those are I and n. After that, clear screen function. You know what printf statement does? It prints on the screen printf and scanf. This scanf function is just to clarify that how many out of the maximum size is 10, but how many elements you are going to operate with. So to ask that, we make use of scanf, this function, that is use of n variable. Now as we come over here, printf the enter the array elements. So after that, these are many elements. Only we are not going to use only one we are not going to accept only one variable, so we are going to accept many variables. So uh, for loop is required when the value of I is 0. It will, now as it is a loop, it will be looping multiple times when until the condition fails. So when the value of I is 0, it will place its first element in the place of 0. So I'll show this pic for you so that you can understand it in a better way. As it is a loop, whenever the value of I is 0, so this is I of a of 0. When the value of I is 0, it will place the first element which we give through keyboard will be placed over here. Now that loop, that it finishes one execution of the loop, and it will increment the value again. When the value is I is 2, it will store its second element over here in this place. This is 0 1, and when the value of I is 3, I is 2, it will store the third element over here. It will keep on storing in this fashion. So as when the condition fails, that is when I is not less than n, it will come out of the loop over here. It will come over here, and once it come over here, again we are writing a for loop. You know how that for loop now, why we make use of for loop in an array. And this a of I is means if a of the value will be 1 2 3, it will be incrementing. So instead of writing a of 0 over here, we are writing a of I, so that this value keeps on changing. It will be not static. And the array elements are for loop. Again, one more for loop. Printf /n is new line function, and %d a of I. It means whenever the value of I is 1, it will display the first element which we had given, and whenever the value of I is 1, it will display the second element. It does that execution of the loop until it finishes until it fails the condition. So one more time I'll show you the output. Enter the elements 5 77 22 44 1, and it will not sort, it will display as you have given the output. And here I will also extend this program a little bit. Whatever the input I give, I want those addition of those inputs. So I'll write initialize one more variable over here, that is sum equals to 0, and inside any of the loop I'll write sum equals to sum plus a of I. And outside the loop I should write, not inside the loop, outside the loop, printf addition of array elements is %d, sum. I'll compile this, no errors, run it, enter the array size 5, enter the array elements 2 3 4 5 and 6. The addition is 20. So I'll tell I'll tell the flow of that one, how the addition is done. Suppose the value of I is 0 over here, and this we have initialized the first value of sum is 0 as we have initialized in the upper part of the program. So here the first value will be 0, here also it will be 0. And suppose let us take an example. We'll write these are array elements over here: 6 comma 5, 6 comma 7 and 9. uh, while uh, while I'll be explaining, I'll be referring these elements of array. Suppose now the first element is 6. When the value of I is 1, a of I means a of suppose the value of I is 0, mean a of I means a of 0, which is the element stored over here will be 6. So 6 plus 0 equals to 6. Now the value of sum is 6 over here. We'll write 6. Now it will print this. Again the next one more, it will enter into loop once again. After this, as the here the value of I will be 1 now, and it will enter what will be the value a of I. A of I will be a of 1, it will be a of 1. Now in the place a of 1, the value is 5. So here the value is 6. 6 plus 5 equals to 11. 6 plus 5 equals to 11. So now the current value of sum is 11. Now the value of I is 2. Now the value of I is 2. Here the value is 6. So again 11 plus 6 over here. 11 plus 6 equals to 17. 11 plus 6 equals to, now the value of sum is 16. Now again it will be incremented. Again a of 3. I is 3. A of 3, the value is 7. 7 plus 17 equals to 24. Now the value of sum is 24. Again it will be incremented. Last incrementation 4 plus 9, that's 33. This is 33. Sum. I hope you understood what I explained. I'll write 0 over here. A of I, sorry. So I'll run, the answer should be 33. No, answer cannot be 33. I don't remember those. I think I had given 5 elements: 6, 5, 6, 7 and 9. The answer is 33. So this is how that execution is done. So that's all in this video. This is how we make use of array.